Hi, I'm Tarot Oracle, and this is my video review of the Witch's Tarot. Now, be aware that there's two Witch's Tarot. There's Witch's Tarot, illustrated by Mark Evans, by Ellen Dugan, and then there's the Witch's Tarot, which is created by Ellen Cannon Reed. If that's going to focus. Ellen Cannon Reed, and illustrated by Martin Cannon. So, for this review, we're going to be reviewing the red box, the Witch's Tarot. Comes with a little white book. Let's review what's in the little white book. It's the Witch's Tarot, not Witch's Tarot. Instructions by Ellen Cannon Reed. Looks like it's made originally in 1989, reprinted in 2007. So the actual book has very generic descriptions about everything. Eight of Wands, science, books, learning. The Eight of Wands, what? Truthfulness, communication. Reverse, dishonesty, falsehood, failure to learn, etc., etc. Pretty not a non-standard book with that definition. Eight of Wands is science, books, and learning. So, okay. Three of Pentacles is pregnancy, change in weight. What? Dude. Okay, so the definitions are different, obviously, than your traditional standard Rider-Waite deck. Okay, so I like some things and I dislike some things, like all decks about this deck. First off, it has some nudity, so be aware that you will see some nudity, including some full frontal nudity. So it's kind of odd. So be aware you have things like this. So if you're not a big fan of that, then you may want to avoid it. That falls under decks that run the cards that run the deck. Okay, so there's other weird stuff in here too. So here's some of the cards I dislike. I dislike the Nine of Cups. Tarot reader reading cards. Nine of Cups, what? Eight of Pentacles? What? That looks just weird. That is a weird card. That is a weird card. Okay, and then that is really out of place for the Six of Swords. Just strange and out of place. I did not like those cards. In addition, I did not like the fact that they really cheaped out on the kings. For example, the King of Cups looks exactly like the King of Pentacles, which looks exactly like the King of Wands, which looks exactly like the King of Swords. The only difference is what he's holding and the color of his robe. So they really cheaped out with the kings and the court cards in general, because the same applies to the Queen, which is all the same except for colors and what she's holding. Same also applies to the Prince. Apparently they ran out of ideas and did not want to bother creating more graphics for different cards, so they just reused the graphics for all the court cards. So all the court cards are exactly the same, sans what the person is holding and a slight variation in their hair and or dress and or robe color. So be aware that they really cheaped out with the court cards on this deck. Also, there is two cards here that give you spreads that come with it. As you know, when you print 78 cards, you need to print 80 in total because of a full sheet. So you get two extra spots, and they use the two extra spots to give you some spreads. One is the Celtic Cross spread, and the next is the Four Seasons spread. So you have these two on there. Okay, in addition, the backs are one directional, so you can tell if it's reversed or if it's not just based upon the backs before you draw it. So just be aware of all of those faults. Now, that said, I do like some of the cards, or I do like a lot of the cards except for the court cards and the ones that I showed you before. The nudity I can put up with, but them cheaping out on the court cards and then having weird cards like this and like that is just odd. I mean, I just didn't like these three particular cards. I can handle the nudity, whatever. It's just these three cards are just kind of weird, and I did not like those. But I do like a lot of the other ones. Here's some that I do like. I do like the Seven of Pentacles here. I like the symbology in that card. and I think there's a lot to grasp onto as far as symbology is concerned, and I think it's rather unique. I also like this for the Five of Pentacles. I think that's unique and kind of reminds me of some unique styles from other decks. So I like the overall, I just like this card. That's cool, and that's a good idea for the Five of Pentacles. I like the Five of Swords. That's a nice little combat on a mountain, monk, you know, type thing looking, with a big tree. And in addition, there's, I don't know what that is under at the bottom of the tree. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, I just like the card. It has some good symbolism, and I would really like to read with this. I also like the Four of Swords, how he's got it placed. I like the symbolism with that. And this is kind of weird. I don't like this, but I like this at the same time, if that makes any sense. I mean, the Two of Pentacles, where you're just kind of juggling between, you know, his hard effort and his money. I don't know, this, it looks terrible, but the symbolism is interesting to me. And lastly, I really like the Two of Cups. So as you can see, the Two of Cups, instead of two people joining together and making mad love or whatever, you have somebody at the top of the hill holding two cups, and then somebody else climbing the hill to get to them. So that kind of reminds me of one of the Anna Kay cards. So, I mean, I just like the symbolism. It's cool symbolism. It's a good idea. I like this card. So, overall, I like the borders as well. You have this nice, thin black border, and then the title is not huge and obtrusive. It's rather small. So, I mean, theoretically, you could cut this. I mean, well, I'm going to cut this once I learn all the cards. I'm going to trim around this, but for now, a nice thin black border with very unobtrusive text, not like Low Scarborough where you have text here, text here, text here, and all these different languages, and the actual graphic is that big. So overall, I like a lot of things about this deck, and I don't like some other things. So here is the size of the deck in comparison to a normal playing card. So if you're looking for the overall size of each card, there it is. So even after you trimmed it, it's still going to be bigger than a normal playing card. But length and a little, well, about the same width, just a little larger in the length. So I do like some of the ideas. I do like the colors in it. It does have some rather vibrant colors. And I think it has some good idea with the symbolism and stuff. So overall, I'm going to keep this deck. I'm going to read with it and just kind of ignore the whole court card thing. So the little white book is pretty much useless, and it does have some weird meanings as well, which kind of throw me off. So I did go and look up, because the Eight of Wands, science, books, learning, truthfulness, communication did kind of throw me off. Obviously, the standard Eight of Wands has absolutely nothing to do with science, books, and communication, so you will need to actually go through the little white book to understand what in the world they're talking about. So this is not a Rider-Waite clone. This is completely unique, and you will need to go through the little white book if you want to understand what this means, and or just go through and wing it and just read intuitively from the picture. So just FYI that this is not a Rider-Waite strict clone. And that is my review. Let's take a look at the cards.